Just checking if we are live at the moment. I'm checking my phone to do just that. 1 second. Okay, I think we are. Can I just confirm that for a minute? Okay. All right, we're live. Good afternoon, everyone. Saan ka man sa mundo ngayon? In the Philippines, good evening. Another edition of our exploration of the Sigma Epsilon Lambda division, trying to understand. So again, I wanted to clarify to everyone that for us to understand the present, we have to go back to the past. This document is a historical document presented in the at present and in the future. You can go back to this anytime. This is educational nature for us to understand what's going on, what happened from past to present. Why do we still have this problem that we are facing at the moment in this organization? Then recording is downloadable in an MP3 format, also an MP4 format. You can download it. The links, I'll put it there. Engagement and discussion or clarification, you are welcome to do so. You can ask questions, comment your questions or clarifications about the presentation. If there's anything you want to add or clarify, and if there's anything I missed at all, just comment it and we can discuss it. Again, we're not coming up with new issues. These are the issues that's already revealed and what was presented or shared to us in the group from the past. So the positions of the people might have changed already. Before they are pro-unification, anti-unification, pro-fellowship, anti-sisterhood, and now they might have changed already. As more information progressed already, they might have pivoted their position. So again, we make best decision based on the choices and the information that we have. We don't know if that is the right decision or it is the wrong one, but as far as we know, based on the information that we have, this is the best choice or decision that we're going to make. We only hope that God will forgive us for the wrong choices that we have made. So again, ang pag-uusapan po natin this afternoon pa kasi dito is that how many times did we attempted to talk about the issues reunification, reconciliation, reunification, and unity and peace. So if I'm going to ask you a very simple, straightforward question today, alam mo ba kung sino-sino yung mga taong nag-attempt na magpatawag ng unity, reconciliation sa group? Can you count it on top of your head? As per history, alam mo ba kung sino-sino yan? Yan po yung pag-uusapan natin ngayon. Without further ado, let's go on with the slides that I have presented to you, if you can see it on the screen. First of all, in 2016, February 9, alam po natin, February 9, 2016, December 25, 2015, meron pong nangyari na himamat sa Mantikaw. In 2016, there was a question like, was that really where the founders were really informed, or baka manipulate lang sila and they are not aware about what happened? And to tell you frankly, that will be a different topic that we have. But this topic, I'll just have to focus on the reunification process at kung sino-sino yung mga tao involved along the way, yung steps done. February 9, 2016, sabi ni founder Bonnie Calfoforo, kasi after that himamat founder petition, so ito yung palabas niya kasi sabi niya, hindi, influence lang yung mga founders. So sabi niya, ako si retired Bonifacio Calfoforo. If you play the video, I transcode it manually at type ko po yan at pinakinggan ko po sentence by sentence, word for word. Ito po yung sabi. Ako si retired Bonifacio Calfoforo. I'm requesting na atong problema nating, he's actually talking to Rick Martires, the anin Rick Martires. I'm requesting na atong problema natin, let's patch up, Broderick, kung pwede, ayaw na pagahe-gahe. Don't make it hard for yourself. Kay ikaw or kita, ang amahan, we are the father. Tayo sana ang magtuturo sa ating mga anak. We are supposed to be the ones who will teach our children. Kung ano yung pinirmahan natin sa Mantikaw, pinirmahan natin because it was Rick that was there. He was the one also who prepared the document, and he's one of the people who prepared the document. And sabi niya, kung ano yung pinirmahan natin sa Mantikaw, yun na yung pinirmahan natin. So hindi yun peke. because people are telling that, it was a fake pirma, it was manipulated and everything. Hindi yun. Sabi niya, it's not fake. Totoong pirma yan. So kung pwede lang, di na natin pag-awayan. I-patch up natin kung pwede lang kasi mahirap pag-amahan or father tayo tapos tayo yung pasaway. Yan lang yung request ko sa group na di tayo mag-away-away at sa mukon ang maong tumong. Don't mess up with our intention, sabi niya. Nagkaguliang ang atong mga anak. So our children are in chaos. So let's help them. Please lang, request ko lang sa iyo, Broderick, na i-patch up natin itong lahat. Kasi ito yung kasabutan. This was the agreement. Agreement sa Mantikaw. So sabi niya, tuloy natin ang Davao. Ano ba yung pirma mo doon? If hindi pala yung totoo, then wala tayong saktong baruganan. Instead, na mag-unite tayo, sana tayo ay imo nang gibungkag. That's what founder Bonifacio Calfoforo said. So he was the first to go live and call for peace, unification, and settle the disagreement. So that was the first one is Bonifacio Calfoforo. Second to the slide, I wanted you to know also that during this moment and this time, this month, SMPit also was there in Yolanda, if you can see it on the screen, na came for other side of the world personally to distribute the relief goods to Typhoon Yolanda. So this was the time na nagkaroon ng Yolanda. The problem was SUUL helped also, nagbigay ng mga kaldero, nagbigay ng mga supplies. It was discussed during my second video, panoorin niyo po. So I was just wondering that on top of that problem that the SUUL is facing, why on earth did SMPit Amumonpon didn't head on or nangulo siya. He should have take the lead himself personally to address or solve the problem while he is still in the Philippines. Kasi during this time, we all know that he is always in the United States and that it will cost him money to come back to the Philippines in doing so. He should have taken this time to settle the whatever problems that we're facing kasi we have to understand that hindi pa po nangyayari yung CONCON nito. The CONCON will happen in April and May during this year. So that didn't happen and instead ang sagutan is Facebook, social media, emails. And I was thinking that as a Supreme Minister, knowing that the problem at hand, ikaw mismo muna pupunta dapat doon and solve this problem immediately. But I didn't know that didn't happen. It's not documented anywhere. Number 2, nananawagan ng kaayusan, unity. In March 18, 2016, if you can see it on the screen, Chanti Purakan. So sabi niya, with the situation going on now, we have nothing in mind but how will this mudslinging and infighting between us will come to an end. To be honest, I'm very worried on the possibility. Possibility kasi hindi pa nangyari yung CONCON ito. Dalawang CONCON yung mangyari. Sabi niya, I'm worried about it. My fear of the divided soul is a big possibility. Baka magka-divide tayo. When that comes, everything we did together, the fun, happiness, all of that maging sacrifice baliwala. So, sabi niya, last Friday, March 11, 2016, hindi pa nangyari yung CONCON dito, ladies and gentlemen, but March 11, 2016, I traveled from Coronadal, Cotabato, to Valencia, Bukidnon, to have lunch. Anong ginawa ni Chanti Purakan? Siya po yung second person na nanawagan. First was Calfoforo, second person who took action, and sabi niya, he traveled from Cotabato to Valencia. I have lunch with the group of Broderick Martires. I'm not sure who are there completely, but Ruel Waga was there, Sis Laura was there, Brad Danny was there, and others just to explore the possibility of meeting with Davao Group. Sabi niya, he took the initiative of going there, kausapin si Rick Martires, and sabi niya, what's the possibility of patching up things? So siya po yung talagang nag-effort to do that. We talked things over a lot. Ang dami siya. Sabi, we talked things over and we talked things very enthusiastic of discussing their position about the Davao Group. I left Valencia on that same day. He left Valencia, Bukidnon, traveled to Davao, and relayed the message. So, nakita mo yung effort na ginawa ni Chanti Purakan. So, I left Valencia, Bukidnon, traveled to Davao to relay the message to the Davao Group. I arrived in Davao at 10 p.m. ng gabi to meet the group of Brad Florbondok. So, Brad Nick, Makumaw, and others who were patiently waiting for me kasi mini-message na siya, Brad, galing ako ng antayin niyo ako dyan kasi I have good news for you, maybe we can still patch these things up. Nakausap ko na si Rick. So maganda yung maganda yung idea niya to begin with. So just they were very eager, excited with the CMU. We planned when we will be in a meeting, as we really need to do it as soon as possible. Sabi niya, kailangan nyo nang mag-meet. So it was Chanti Purakan, the second person na nawagan po ng Unity, gumawa ng paraan, who traveled from Cotabato to Valencia, kausapin silang Rick and et al. Party, and a Davao group as well. What happened next is but purely miscommunication. So you know what happened? Nakita nyo si Flor, March 18 yan. March 31, nag-post si Flor, sabi niya, si Flor, as a chairman of the CONCON Davao, I would let know that we are doing our best to reunite our frat and sword together with our brothers and sisters who are, handling CONCON and CMU. So meron sila, okay, because of this, we have high expectations sa amicable settlement. Sabi nila, mag-usap tayo, and hindi pa nangyaring CONCON ito. We can patch things. So in short, ang nangyari, there was a miscommunication because we will discuss that on a separate video during 2016 video. It will be there, but for now, I'll just have to make this quick. Hindi po nangyari yun. It didn't materialize because there was a miscommunication. Makikita nyo po dyan. You can read it there. Flor was waiting in a junction between Davao to Valencia because it will take 2 or 3 hours for him to travel. He's waiting for the venue, he's waiting for the time, and then Rick also texted him, but he didn't text him directly. He texted to Purakan. There was a middleman middleman who's relaying the message. Rick also, the late Rick Martires also, and the Ruel Waga and the team was thinking na baka i-relay ni, and so in short, there was a miscommunication, and a lesson of communication, my friend. Sa katagalan ko na sa corporate world, I sent first email, ayaw mag-reply. Second follow-up, ayaw mag-reply. Third follow-up, immediately, tawagan mo yan. You can just simply, ang daming comments dyan, why they didn't have simply pick up the phone. Bakit hindi nila tinawagan? And yan, so there was no effort at all of, there's always a middleman and saying, sus, kung ako, tawagan kita agad, Brad, akala ko ba mag-meeting sa'yo ka na ngayon? But ipapadaan pa natin doon for formality sakes or whatever, but come on. It was the chance already of a lifetime, but that didn't happen. Tuloy po tayo. April 6, number 3 sa list. Nanawagan po si Tony Casalmer. So April 6 na yun, and it's about to happen ang CONCON na for both group. And sana to all, nanawagan po si Founder Tony Casalmer that unity sa ating organization. Ako sab, I'm gihangyot na mo nga igsuon sa founders na pagtindog tubag sa mahiusa kita so that we can be united. You can see it on the screen. So nanawagan din po si Tony Casalmer, in short. But mahirap kasi sa kanya, he's outside the Philippines, so he can only again show the calling for unification or peace or talk sa Facebook. Hindi siya makakaway during that time. So in short, nangyari na nga April. You can see the set of officers sa CMU. You can also see the set of officers sa Davao. So 2 CONCON happened 2016. One is in Davao City, one is CMU. Set of officers for CMU is there. Another set of officers for Davao CONCON is there. So Supreme Minister Amumunpon, for the second time, he won the election. Although it becomes a controversy kasi sabi niya hindi na rin siya tatakbo. I will show you. Sabi niya insinuation about my real motive to change the venue from Davao to CMU. The main and only reason why I wanted the CONCON to be held in CMU is to unite the founders. I don't have intention to run for the second term of Supreme Minister, but that is word. He broke his word. He won for the second time election as Supreme Minister, knowing that he was the reason also that his decision led to the division. But on the second time, he ran and won. Again, on the other hand, nag-CONCON ng Davao. Then this is the faction began. And 2016, hindi po Supreme Minister ang tawag sa kanila, but ISM. SKI, Supreme Knight International, SKI, and Supreme Minister, on the other hand, SKI, Supreme Knight International. Dalawang CONCON, dalawang CBL, dalawang magkaibang organization, same roots, 2 different groups with different sect registration. So dito nabash si Pete ng marami because he broke his word saying that hindi siya tatakbo, but again that will be another discussion. Number 4, fourth on the list. Ito po, during the ConCon, it so happened our beloved friend Gino, he died, and pumunta po si Lyle, founder George Acapulco there. So I'm not really sure what's the entire story, but if you can see sa mga comment nila, ganito po. Ang nangyari po, Lyle was saying that I was so sad and my heart was crying. Sabi niya, I saw their faces. Seems that we are not welcome anymore. Sabi niya, we are totally ignored. Seems we are not part of Suul anymore. So, ang sinabi as accounted ni Brad Lyle, Brad George Acapulco was excited to approach Pete Amumunpon to offer his greetings, a Suul handshaking, but Pete Amumunpon was insensitive. Instead, he's saying, wag na. This is an insult to injury. That is his version. Lyle, George, and the team. Ang version naman ni Brad Pitt, sabi niya, so I'm not sure if the setting happens during the wake of Brad Gino or doon na sa cafeteria, kasi ang nakasabi ni Brad Pitt sa cafeteria, in the morning gusto niya mag-breakfast. So if that is the case, on the same location or it's different, but ang sabi din niya dito, at 0:49, pinakinggan ko yung video ni Brad Pitt, sabi niya, 0:49, kung makita niyo, go to the world, download it there. Nisulod ko sa cafeteria to have breakfast. 15 minutes after, Brother George Acapulco and Brad Lyle, I think, came in. They ordered, sat on the table, and they ate. And I approached them. Sabi niya, Brad, I shake my hand. I offer my hand to them. I just want to acknowledge, but hindi niya ina-acknowledge ang traditional handshake natin. Ano na lang, yung regular shake na lang daw. So, during that time, gilabay-labayan na daw siya. People are just passing by, and it's like wala siya. And that time, Brad and Sis, medyo nahiubos siya. He was so upset because I think gilabay-labayan lang siya. So, with other people who are there with the team of Lyle. So, sabi niya, in 2:49, sabi niya, totoo, nung nagkumain na sila sa table, I did not acknowledge them. Totoo, yung handshake, yung lamano nila kay nahiubos ko. So it was true that I did not acknowledge. He didn't acknowledge the handshake because nahiubos na siya. He was upset already. So in short, another chance of unity. It was again failure for the fourth time. Kasi not fourth time, but it was another failure, another attempt. So sayang, no? We could have saved a lot of away karon present in 2020 during this time. But again, where is the pride? Where is the humble? Where is the humility? Where is the kindness? It was then, kung alam nyo lang kung ano yung nangyari na problema ngayon, you could have go back and rewind in the past and fix the problem immediately. Next slide. This guy, Jose Eric Tata Calacat Barilla, he's a very good guy. Magandang storya to. He was inactive, but he's just following, subscribing, everything sa nangyayari. He was, I think, in West Mindanao, Zamboanga, Iligan, somewhere, Uzames before. Inactive siya. He transferred to Maramag, Bukidnon. He got married there. He got settled down. Ang daughter niya, one day, nag-eskwela from Bukidnon State College, nisulod of pagka-orphans. She came home one day and instead of Amin, the daughter shook her hand and he was surprised that, nisulod ay pagka-orphan. So then, naintriga siya and he wanted to, nabuhayan siya ng loob. Pero because of this time na may problema ang grupo, then he put this a very nice story saying that, let's go on, Suul respected and loved by everyone as an institution. It is not a person. I would like to give a cautious reminder to all of us. Let us be prudent in all our thinking. Let us all add the missing heart to this situation. Ito lang yung kulang. And I suggest na isettle ni siya sa mga leaders. He also called for peace, reconciliation, April 15, 2018. He's one of the early people who called for reconciliation. Another slide. Again, Chanti Purakan, number 6. During this time, Broderick Martires also aired his sentiment about being one again, in my humble opinion. So it was Rick also called for unification and wanted to be as one again. August 18, 2016. We have exactly 8 days before we begin. Let us do memorable by uniting us again. But again, that didn't happen. Kung babasahin nyo, sabi niya, a few days ago, Broderick Martires aired his sentiment about being one again. This is Shanti Purakan speaking. In my humble opinion, this is a positive sign that the other side is open for unification. After a failure unification before, So continue reading. Most of you knew how I tried to make the two groups meet, settle things. We have exactly 8 days before the big day. Let that day memorably uniting again. We failed in the first two attempts to draw this gentleman to the table. I call upon Brad Pitt, Broderick, and Brad Lyle to please talk and settle your differences. May we hear from Broderick, Brad Pitt, and Brad Lyle regarding this? So sabi ni Purakan. Rick Martinez replied, the late Rick Martinez replied, peace be upon him, easier said than done. Brad Louie, I saw your effort and we tried to match your effort to despite betrayals and lies and mudsliding. You have to remember, during this time, ang dami ng mga personal problem, ang dami ng betrayals, mudsliding, ang dami ng mga words na masasakit thrown from left to right. So ito po yung nangyari. That didn't happen. Ang ganda po. You can read it later on and follow the video. So I wanted to know that what happened. Now, number 7, September 4, 2018, Fred Alag of North America chapter, it is high time to forgive and forget the past and we will move on. 2019 Constitution. Ano nangyari dito? Si Fred, nirepost niya ang message ni Lyle Alido sa Sisterhood, the SKI, Supreme Night International, nanawagan ng peace, ng reconciliation. So, it was Fred who posted it. So, sinabi ni Brad Lyle dito, I hope Brad Pitt Amumanpon, our Supreme Minister, would also do the same announcement. And should reconciliation be made possible, I would like to request him to provide members to all together. And so, in short, lahat ng mga, let's stop the social media debate, let's talk. The essence of reconciliation is forgiveness, underscoring supply, that is but a message and all these things. So, ito yung message ni Brad Lyle, wanted to call for talk and reunification. So, Fred as well, to agree with this, sabi niya, I totally agree with the unified CONCON and reconciliation, but I'm not sure about the date and venue sa CONCON. And thank you, Brad. Maybe istrehanin nila ni Founder Lyle and SM. Sabi nito ni Fred Alag, which is based in America during this time. That's number 7. Moving forward, another September 16, number 8, nagpagawas sila og Resolution number 1, sponsored by North America chapter. Importante to, listen to this. Naka-state dyan sa Resolution number 1, sponsored by North American Can. So that means it's coined. It was the idea of Fred, North American chapter, saying that Brad Lyle, ang signatory dapat Fred Alag, Pete Amumunpon, Lloyd Lyle Alido, and Tony Casalmer. So perhaps Tony and Fred spoke and they come up with this idea and they coined into this. Sabi niya, urges founder Lyle Alido, this resolution urges founder Lyle Alido, leader of the faction group, to, number 1, sing this resolution to discuss problems and find ways, sign this resolution, discuss your problems and find ways and means for solution. Number 2, cease and desist the governance of faction and group. Uy, sabi niya, on the day of the convention, in lieu of the chairman of committee, complete the solution, ang gusto na, cease and desist, complete the solution of the faction group upon signing the document. Parang mabigat to resolution asking for peace, but at the same time, sabi nila, mag-usap tayo, but the conditions herewith. Pumirma ka dito so that we can discuss problems and find ways and means at solution ng nangyari. Pero ang condition number 2 is mag-cease and desist muna kayo. I-complete dissolution nyo muna ang faction group upon signing this document. That means the moment pipirmahan nila Alido to, that means the fellow sisterhood immediately will cease and desist the governance of the faction group. And number 3 condition, recognize the constitution and bylaws of Davao, SMU, as an essential of foregoing comprehensive agreement, whereas the amended 2017-2010 CBL will supplement any doubtful question. So, recognize niyo pong CBL ng CMU. Recognize the prescribed logo kasi change niyo yun to sisterhood from brotherhood fellowship to brotherhood sisterhood and any circumstances without. So, my God, what were they thinking in the first place? Makikipag-reconcile ka, wanted to explore the talk, But yet, before that peace and reconciliation will happen, you already impose conditions which is impossible to happen in the first place, so you're setting yourself to fail. Kasi one of the conditions na gusto mo is the moment you sign this, i-cease mo muna and i-dissolve mo muna, complete dissolution of your group. So, who in the right mind would agree this kind of resolution? So, hindi po nangyari yon. In fact, hindi alam ni Pete Amumunpon to. It was coined in by Fred and by, I think, Tony Casalmer. Pumirma po sila dyan. Nakikita nyo sa camera now. Because, bago ko nalaman to, Romel Ruelan, also in America, siya din isa ang nag-push nito. After kinoin-en yung resolution na yan, sabi niya, let Brad Lyle sign this resolution. Gusto man gaha mo og usa og balik, permahe dayon. Kinanto nga stalwa, permahe dayon eh. So, you can see there, Romel is saying that if you want resolution, let Lyle, unification and unity, balik ta, let Lyle sign this and kalas. Hindi alam ni Pete to. Because Pete comment on this, sabi niya, sila ang muperma and then what? Please clarify. So, that means he really didn't know this, about this, and sabi niya, I will have my response to all of this National Council have convened. So, please have patience. Thank you. In-explain ulit ni Romel kay Pete, kay Peter Mumonpon, muperma mo duha, Brad, para dili mo maguba o dili na magkagubot ang atong organization. This resolution is usa kini sa seguridad as a security na dili na kini mahitabo ang kaguliang na nahitabo karon. Kay maski kana kinsa na panalider mo patong sa suol at is ang tanang membro na dili magkaguliang utak-watak na organization. That means Pete doesn't understand, doesn't know this resolution first. What are the conditions there? He was just made aware na yung resolution. Kung mupirma, then what's next? Muta na siya, wa siya kabalo, blind siya. So, let's go with the next slide. So, again, na panawagan sa reconciliation, ang panawagan sa reconciliation nga gi-post that signed by your name and imo kining manghangyo. Sabi nito Ruel Waga, Brad Ruel Waga, Brad Lyle, katong panawagan nimo nga reconciliation, is that even real? Because sabi niya, kung tinuod na pagbuhat og video, video yourself and walay script basahon. You know, it's very funny, you know. So kung tinuod na sige pag video and buhat og script, walay script basahon. So it's really funny. But again, Knight Ruel Waga pointed out na kay sa mga nilabay daw na panahon sa Bayugan City Convention, adunay gipanggula sa social media nga kamo ang gibuhatan og personal non grata. So it was the sisterhood who declared persona non grata to the fellowship team first nang nahitabo sa Bayugan, and gani Brad Lyle sa miaging bulan sa February 2018 adunay panawagan si Brad Pitt amumumpon nga kita maghiusa pinaagi sa pag-imbitar kaninyong tanan sa 5th National Convention sa Malaybalay City May 2018, but I couldn't find that on record officially nga nanawagan si Pitt. And Waga was saying that tuas lang Brad Lyle dito, but wala ni adto gyud sa venue, nag-inom na sila somewhere, and that's what happened. So I don't know what happened because it was not officially documented, but this is what Waga is saying. So again, if seryoso kasi more reconciliation, founder Lyle, pag video, yung pagbasag script and all these things. So RV Toralba sa point there, sabi niya, wa na jud ay pag-asa ng tanan. Can we not forgive and forget the sake of organization? Is it necessary pa bagyod nga mag-video sa Brad Lyle? What if mabuhat ang video? So what's next? May na pud mo nga dili siya ang mastermind ana and all these things. So daghan kay mga pamagi. In fact, Samanti also commented that forgive period dili na siguro na ato kailangan taason pa. If you are willing to talk and done, daghan pa kayong istorya, di ba? So next slide. Response September 23. Response si Brad Pitt Amumunpon. Response to the members calling for reconciliation. The call for us to unite is precisely needed for the building of a strong organization. I strongly agree, sabi niya, with all your thoughts in this regard. But, take note of this, my friend. He agreed, but the idea of Al-Ag, Fred Al-Ag, Tony Casalmer, and the North American chapter, gikuha niya to, he took it and put it in the resolution number 0923 September 23, 2018, Suul National Council, which in fact, asking founder Lyle Aledo, leader of the faction group Brotherhood and Sisterhood, to sign this resolution as commitment. Okay, you sign this as a commitment to discuss problems and find ways and means for its solution. So the governance of the faction group is dissolved effective immediately. My friend, come to think of it, what is there to discuss? And what is there to discuss and find means of solution of the problem if you ask them to dissolve the problem immediately? What is there to discuss and to begin with? Nothing. You're just, solution natin yan, pero i-dissolve nyo na, tapos, oh my God, come on. I'm not sure how people understand this thing, but again, this idea is from Fred Alag, Tony Casalmer, I think, and from America. Kinuha niya, he put it in the resolution para sinabi that he responded to the calling of Lyle Aledo, and this is what is he saying. But again, this idea is not from Pete, it is again from the North American resolution na binigay sa kanya. So again, this will not work out. I'm telling you as early as now, hindi mangyari yan. Mantakin mo yun, yung condition before we can talk about the problem and find means and explore the solution. I-dissolve mo muna. So that means what is there to talk kung i-dissolve nila? What is there to talk about in the first place? What is there anything to settle in the first place? So wala. Ang bobo na Ranmay Ampere, sinabi niya, repost lang niya, unta, dili ni irason. Kasi ang sinasabi niya dito, dapat si founder Lyle daw, Aledo, ang gumawa ng letter, same sa ginawa ni SM, Pete. Bobo nga talaga because he didn't know that ang gumawa ng draft resolution, it was not also Pete, but it was Fred Alag to begin with. So it's the same. Inaakusahan niya si founder Lyle na hindi siya gumawa ng letter na yun. It was Tyrone Opiso or Greg Camco, pumirma lang si Lyle. The same thing na din ginawa ni Brad Pitt, di ba? Kinuha lang din niya, inadapt niya yung resolution from Alag and from Tony Casalmer, North America, and binawa niya officially as his resolution. So it's the same thing. Yun lang, because of misinformation or lack of information, nagpaka naman to isang bobong Ampere na to. Number 9, always remember, Jimmy Kaharian fought for unification, forgiveness, reconciliation. Makikita mo lahat ng comment niya dyan. Tuan na lagi. This is in 2019 late 2019, almost 20 na. Tuan na lagi, nanapod ng sitwasyon. Gusto mong kamog unity, pero nganong bakit mag-schedule og tagsa-tagsa? Nag-schedule si Lyle, nag-schedule si Pete Amumunpon. Sabi niya, ba't kayo nag-iba ng schedule? Let's run together and pag paging Brad Lyle, ayaw intaw ninyo pasagdi ang atong grupo nga magkahinayak og kabahin. Pagsabot taon mong duha, agree with each other, dili gani mo magkasinabot, pastilan unungan bagyod, palihog lang in town. So, to all the key movers from two factions, this is Jimmy speaking, in town, tabangan, nga maghiusa na ta. Let's talk and move for just one convention. Let's elect a unified leader. So sabi niya, let's have a one convention, let's elect a unified leader, and whose organized skills can bring our organization to one level. Both factions can fill the respective candidates. Sabi niya, both factions group. Factions kasi sabi niya, faction din yung sisterhood, faction din yung brotherhood, fellowship. But the faction of fellowship is the mainstream. So dalawang group yan. Technically, mainstream group, which is the fellowship, and the faction group, which is the sisterhood. Pero for him, both factions. And whoever wins will give our common support. So one convention, and whoever wins, united let's give our support. This is the idea of Brad Jimmy. And sabi ni Brad Jimmy, we will not stop and we will try again. I can talk to Greg Kiamco, the company. I will do this as a concerned member, and this is my own initiative, not sanctioned and authorized by factions. My only motive is to bring them to a common table. Who knows, the key movers from each side will give a unity chance. Baka sakali, they will give a chance, or unity the chance. So, sabi ni Ranmay Ampere, unta, makaya ni mo na Brad. Sabi ni Jimmy, dili na ko ni kaya without your support. I need everyone's support. Help me mention sa mga all these things. So, basahan ha. Next, Pete replied saying that, Brad Jimmy, with due respect to your effort and good intention, I'm not sure I can totally agree with you by saying that both factions, sabi niya, both factions, hindi isa lang yung faction, kami, hindi. Of course, each of us is entitled in your own opinion and perception. Beside on the turn of events, there is only one faction group, and certainly not the original. Sabi niya, hindi yung fellowship, it's only the sisterhood and faction. The Brotherhood and Fellowship group has been operating and will continue to operate based on the CBL. The National Council has already presented the terms of conditions of the unification to nakita mo yung terms and conditions earlier? Mag-usap tayo pero buwag mo muna kayo. Paano pa yung pag-uusapan kung buwag na yung problema, di ba? So perhaps you as an ambassador of unification, sabi niya, perhaps you, Brad Jimmy, as ambassador of unification, could revisit those terms and conditions and work with the concerned party in hope that you can come and be agreeable. Thank you for your genuine concern. Sumagot naman si Brad Jimmy during this time. Hello, Brad Pitt. Thank you for your guiding comments also. Please allow me to post this rejoinder just to put things in the right perspective. When the sisterhood cluster started to exist within our organization, it indicates already the existence of two factions. So pag nag-faction sila, when they started the faction, big sabihin, dalawang faction na yun, or dalawang kampo na with the SUUL. The one is the breakaway, which is the sisterhood, and the one is the mainstream faction, the fellowship. Truly speaking, I remained with the mainstream. So, may point din si talaga, kasi when you say faction, it is a group. Pero mainstream group or mainstream faction group ang fellowship. So, truly speaking, I remain with the mainstream. I am for a united and one SUUL. That's why it pains me to see, read, hear, observe our brothers and sisters quarreling. Founder Lyle have already sent feelers through video kasi nag-video challenge ni Ruel Waga si Lyle na mag-video, challenge niya, so nag-video siya, sabi niya, I don't have any qualm if you resolve the decision. So yung video ni Lyle for reconciliation did not gain headway as the NC encountered it with some preconditions. Sabi niya, paano magigain yung calling of reconciliation ng sisterhood kung ang National Council kinounter with preconditions? Ito yung sinasabi ko. Sabi ka, mag-usap tayo sa problema kasi nagka-faction kayo, pero bago natin pag-usapan yan, ibuwagin nyo muna yung faction nyo. So, these are the preconditions that was, sabi ni Rajiv, parang hindi tama yan. It didn't gain headway kasi it countered with some preconditions. So that's what I have in mind, my interpretation to this. I didn't have any qualm if you resolve the decision according to the CBL. At tama naman, it's the rightful approach according to the CBL. But the fact that it did not work and instead just created an impasse, it should have triggered already another approach. Ito yung sinasabi ko sa inyo, ladies and gentlemen. Yung isang problema, first solution, hindi nag-work out, try another solution. Brad Jimmy knows about this. Kasi ang solution nyo, surrender until hanggang magkamatayan, magkaubusan ng end of the world na surrender. It didn't work out for the first solution. Let's try another solution. Sabi niya, but the fact that it didn't work and instead just created an impasse, it should have triggered already another approach. Rather than continue stonewalling, now that the CONCON is fast approaching, the division remains, and in fact, the breakaway group has announced its separate schedule of CONCON. This is a sign of legitimizing their coexistence. Sabi niya, this is a sign, legitimize na natin yung coexistence natin. Acknowledge na natin sila as another one. So, this is the idea of Brad Jimmy, ladies and gentlemen. This is his position noon, and this is what he's saying. So, napakaganda. It was the right thing to do. So, titignan natin, the next one is that, ito po, I summarize it. That sabi, you can pause the video, you can read it carefully. Founder Lyle Alado already sent feelers. It didn't work out. It didn't gain headway kasi ang daming mga preconditions and all these things. So makikita nyo yan. Just read it closely. It is the message of Jimmy Carian to SMP. Next, March 26, nanawagan ulit si Jimmy Carian. In fact, it is something na pinaparinggan niya si Pete this time. Sabi niya, basahin nyo. Sabi niya, the problem could have been long solved at the onset. Ibig sabihin, pag umpisa pa lang, it can be solved. Had the father, he uses a figurative speech. Something that represents a real situation. No, it's a figurative which meron siyang makamundong meaning. The problem could have been long solved at the onset had the father used his heart. Ibig sabihin niya, had the father used his heart and not his authority. He didn't mention sino, but the father, we clearly know it's SMP. Kung hindi lang niya sana ginamit yung authority niya at ginamit niya yung heart niya, the problem could have been resolved immediately. Of the same token, the stowaway children could have been long went home and re-immersed in the family had the grandparents did not consent it. Sabi niya, grandparents plus the founder, kung hindi lang sana kinonsent ng mga founder, ang sisterhood, matagal na sana tayong ka-united. So, two things. SMP, although hindi niya minention, figuratively speaking, saying that had the father uses his heart and not his authority, had the grandparents, the founders, did not consent, the sisterhood, matagal na sana tayong nagkabalikan. Go on, pause the video and read it. It's a very nice story. Okay, so the problem became worse because in March 26, 2019, di ba, remember, nagpersona non grata sa bayugan ang sisterhood? Again, fellowship also responded, magpersona non grata din sila, and this is what happened. In March 26, 2019, effective immediately, this served as a notification, Resolution 02-8-2019, declaring persona non grata to all the prime movers. 02-18-2019, so this is like February 8, 2019, it happened earlier, because, February 8, 2019, it was posted in March, but February 8, 2019, they declared persona non grata to sisterhood. So, nag-declare ang sisterhood at first sa bayugan, na also declare ang fellowship sa persona non grata. And this is what happened. So, you see how the problem, palala ng palala, no? It's getting worse. Felix Pagulong, if anyone know this guy, our Brad, he also called for unification. Maganda yung message niya. You post the video, basahin niyo po. And he was saying again, let's forgive and have the heart to, cut lang po yung message niya, but it is the right one. Go check sa world, find Felix Pagulong. He is one of the earlier people who call for unification. Isa din po tayo doon sa nagpatawag ng unification, April 21, 2019. Dahan-dahan po nating sinasabi na why can't we have peace, love, and forgiveness and unity. So during this time, nanawagan po tayo ng peace and unification, but unfortunately, marami pong kumontra sa atin, and to make the story short, ang dami until today. Anyone who all ask for unification, reconciliation, kukontrahan ka, you will be labeled as destabilizer, you will be labeled as someone who's not hindi solid, walang baruganan, and all of those things that they can throw on you to discourage you from not joining them being a solid. So that's the problem, no? Other than that, look at Brad Jimmy. Kung si Brad Jimmy didn't change his stand, malamang he will be one of people na gikontrahan po doon ta. But for now, look at that. Look at his position. Sabi niya, to all brothers and sisters in Seoul, I am posting my reply to Brad Jojo on this wall for circumspection. Let us all help promote reconciliation and unity for our beloved Seoul. To Brad Jojo Agnes, ang dami. To start this integrating instead of conducting loyalty check, why not promote reconciliation and unification? Sabi niya, I would like to cite you very embarrassingly. There are several chapters now composed of two factions who are both. There are alpha chapters, blah, 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 fellowship, situation, and all these things. So, sabi niya, and then, will we be happy if this happens, kung kanya-kanya ta? So, sabi niya dito, but as elected leader of this sisterhood faction, you can make a difference and make a better move instead. Please stop acting in enticing alignment, for instead, let's have a reconciliation and unity. So this is the second call of Jimmy asking for reconciliation. In fact, you can see it in the comment. This is why I'm calling the attention to both set of officers to promote peace, reconciliation, and unification for Cesar Borgios during this time, because the SM during this time is already Brad Cesar Borgios, and ang SKI sa sisterhood is already Jojo Agnes. So he was saying that for Borgios and company, stop stonewalling, started by previous administration, and for Agnes to stop conducting loyalty check with all the chapters, hoping to just move on and coexist in a very disastrous to Seoul. The only better way is negotiate, reconcile, and reunite. This is the better way he can think of. Sabi niya, let's negotiate, reconcile, and reunite. So sabi ni Mr. Alvin Oco, Brad Alvin, if NC will commit, the initial proposed venue is at CMU, together with names involved but the CMU admin as mediators. May it be happen, God way to start. It's a good way to start reconciliation and bring a unity back, sabi ni Jisrael. So that was the second calling. That's the third calling of Brad Jimmy again in May 7. Sabi, utmost appeal to the officers of both fellowship and sisterhood. Please refrain from stop conducting chapter inventory, loyalty check, because it will worse. Actually, it will worse. It will worsen the situation. Then there will be a competition that will lead to fighting without realignment. At least homogeneous will mix pa ang grupo. And reunification is not difficult. Ito sabi ni Brad Jimmy. If we love Suul, we should promote and work out for reconciliation and unification. Again, sabi niya, if we love Suul, we should promote and work out for reconciliation, unification, keeping our Suul as one of the sweetest victory. My appeal also to all the chapters SK, the SK if certain group ask which side are you aligned, please do not take sides, but expressing your loyalty to the mainstream original Suul. So sabi niya, don't take sides, but go for the mainstream, which is the fellowship. CBL is a deal, sabi ni Brad Jimmy. NC has been sticking to that. This is fine, but I did not produce the desired unity. So ang CBL, we stick to that. Maganda yun, it's fine, but it did not produce the desired unity, sabi ni Jimmy. And the chaos is getting intense now. Kaya nagtag of war na ta ang chapters. Gets ba natin ang lahat? Sabi niya, sinabi ko nga noon, if we link it to the Philippine government regarding rebellion, come down from the mountains. Lahat ng mga nagrebelde, come down from the mountains, lay down your arms, embrace the Philippine Constitution, abide the laws. We will provide you jobs, opportunities as we integrate you back to the mainstream society. But it did not produce the desired result, sabi niya. Only few rebels came back and hanggang ngayon, NPAs are still at war, continue to exist. That way, the Philippine government was forced to negotiate, and there is this what they call peace process. Yun yung sinabi natin the exploratory talk. Now, back to our Suul concerns. Sticking to the CBL did not make the sisterhood come back. Again, sabi ni Brad Jimmy, sticking to the CBL did not make the sisterhood come back. Then why stick to the ideal way of invoking the CBL? So, kung it didn't make them come back, but palagi nating stick to the ideal way of invoking the CBL palagi? What's the point? It didn't solve the problem. Why do we have to keep on calling it? It didn't solve the problem. Simple. This is the reason why I'm promoting negotiation, reconciliation, and unification. If you will say that the NC should stick to the CBL, but general and majority members want recon, left Suul is as one, then think about it. Sabi niya, it didn't even work sa CBL, and then magkano tayo. So that's magandang idea yun. So Dominic, sabi niya, so you mean to say forget the CBL? Sabi niya, Aldikyo, we do not forget the CBL, but we may not invoke or use it at all the time. Sabi niya, hindi naman natin nakakalimutan yung CBL, but hindi natin i-invoke or gamitin yun all the time. CBL is necessary, but may not be applicable all the time. Sabi ni Brad Jimmy yun. Aldikyo, sabi niya, so Brad Jimmy, we're both in the same positioning, bro. I know where you're coming from, and thanks to that, but I think Brad Dominic is asking with regards to CBL. Sabi Nick, are you kidding me, brother? CBL is not applicable all the time? Ha. So ato pa, Constitution ng Pilipinas dili pud applicable all the time. Nganong gipadamay man ang Constitution, blah blah blah. Sabi ni Brad Jimmy, Brad Dominic, I'm not kidding you. If the NC stick to the CBL just like what you believe in, it will not attain the desired unity. It will surely not, because letting the sisterhood come back to the fold, as the CBL says, is not working and not acceptable to them. Now, would you still insist the CBL to be used again kung hindi nag-work yun? So, gamitin na bitaw na sa time ni Brad Pitt. So, sa time ni Brad Pitt, sabi niya, sige, gamitin ang CBL. It didn't work for sisterhood. So, sabi niya, and they did not come back. Ngayon, ikaw na rin ang may sabing ang Constitution, gipanday, aron maoy giya para mahimong hapsay. So, the Constitution is built for peace, and not for division, and not for chaos. But wala man mahapsay busa giya dili applicable. So since dili applicable, dili na hapsay, dili siya applicable. So let's set it aside and let's invoke the forgiveness, reconciliation. Morning na alternative process. So that's face them in negotiation table. Karon, if we continue to use the CBL, pasagdan na ba lang nimo na magbinirahay ang chapters asa mo dapig? Ayha kamo mo negotiate. Kung ayha na kamo negotiate, kung patay na. Gets mo, sana magets ng tanan. So that was what Brad Jimmy's position. Napaka-strong. It's the right thing to do. That is my position hanggang ngayon, until now. So, Brad Jimmy again, fourth time na nagtawag siya ng reconciliation. Our problem now is that many in the fellowship are opposed to reconciliation with the sisterhood. Take note, marami sa fellowship opposed to reconciliation with the sisterhood. They fail to see the bigger problem that lie ahead. If we continue our division, those who oppose do not see how damaging the present situation can be. So sabi nga niya, there will be a competition, rough treatment, avoidance, fighting, which is already happening today. The moment there will be casualty, God forbids, di ba sa Bayugan, sumbagay na, apit na magpatay. So these are the effect of this unity. This is why I'm promoting and keep on calling reconciliation and unification to prevent destruction of our beloved SUUL. So this is what Brad G is saying. Nag-comment naman si Dominic. Ask the sisterhood kung wala ba nila i-abolish yung ilang faction group. Total, wala naman sila na-register sa SEC. Bobo talaga. Hindi niya alam na registered ang sisterhood ng SEC. It's even using the original SEC. So anyway, SEC is a different topic that I'm going to discuss. But for now, this is what happened. So, Brad Jimmy again, the message below speaks volume of a man's folly. Sabi niya, hope this will serve as any good to all knights and orphans, to the leaders. Ang dami. And let's all call for divided tayo. Let's build a bridge. Even initiate that. So ito po yung posisyon ni Brad Jimmy. Fourth time calling for reunification. So sumagot naman siya kay Romel Ruelan. Sabi niya, Brad Romel, blah blah blah, ang dami mong I already hinalintulad ko the problem with look what President Duterte is saying, doing in rebellion in our country. While he stands firm, yet he gives concession. So firm siya sa CBL bylaws, constitution, yet he gives concessions. As a unifying approach, one cannot do it with an iron fist, but by embracing arms. You mentioned myself as one of the leaders in the fellowship, RC, kasi he is already a national council during his time, Royal Court, si Brad Jimmy, that can help in the reconciliation. And this is the very reason my message on the wall, soften first the heart of the leaders of both sides. Unlike others, including you, I am not a believer of iron fist. Sabi niya, let's gayahin natin si Duterte. He's a mind of iron fist. But he has also a soft side for the concession and willing magpatawad and forgive without yung mga conditions and everything, we can work it out. Sabi niya, si Romel Ruelan, Romel, pakinig ka. Sabi niya, the problem with you, Romel, ever since you are posting messages trying to make an impression for yourself rather than contributing to the solution. But still, I would like to think that your intention is good. I will just hope that by next time, whenever you make comments, be it an addendum or rejoinder, make it non-abrasive to avoid antagonizing many. As several hundreds of members read our wall, you may unmindfully give them irritation rather than making good impression. I rest my case. So that's how diplomatic it is, ang post ni Brad Jimmy. Again, October 5, 2019, last year lang to, nagpalabas ng message si Pete, which is already Cesar Burgos na po ang SM nito. But he was saying that it needs more than two leaders talking. First, it's ultimately need the willingness and commitment of the members of the group, brotherhood, sisterhood, to voluntary dismantle again. Binalik na naman niya. Yung idea niya na i-dismantle mo muna what happened before, yung willingness and commitment to doing so would be possible bridge to the leader. So instead of appealing for the two leaders to sit down and talk, I'm personally appealing to the members of other groups headed by Brad Jojo Agnes to think this through and do consider the dissolution of governance of brotherhood, sisterhood. I'm most certain that this will be a prerequisite for peace talk. Sabi niya, prerequisite daw yan for peace talk. I-dissolve mo muna. What is there to talk? What is there to have peace when it's already, wala nang dapat pag-usapan because it's already dismantled. So again, makikita mo, more and more people is sold out to the idea of unification. Makikita mo dito, ako usab ang ipasabot nga kini nga mga issue nga dili, look at the post of Rajiv, read it yourself. Rookie Jones also was then again calling for peace, unity, and reconciliation, followed by also JL Sabugaa during this time offered, sabi niya, sabi ni Rookie Jones, basahan na lang ninyo ang response sa National Council, sisterhood na apil ang mga bagong inosente mga paghitabo, luoy kayo, no, fellowship, and so he was advocating reunification during this time, and even JL Sabuga saying that, you know, on my part, I'm willing to offer ang Balingasag, ang niyang venue as a free accommodation, meals, snacks sa mga officers, fellowship, sisterhood, to our beloved founders for 3 days and 2 nights. Sabi niya, 3 days, 2 nights. Let's go and meet there. May 15, 16, 17 as the date for this activity. Dito ta mag-istorya tanan. So napakaganda ginawa po ni Brad Rocky Jones sa Bugaa and other people who joined the unification. The marami po the unification group, we call our unification group, who joined calling for unity and peace. So this was also one of the controversy kasi si Brad Knight Ruelwaga was asking na mag-surrender na mo, balik loob program and all these things as the precondition what was mentioned by Jimmy earlier. So it was again different issues that happened, so hindi nagmaterialize. Nakita nyo of all the things that happened, ang dami. So last part of my message or presentation. So makikita mo dito, makikita mo si Brad Jimmy slowly shifted his position. So now he becomes legalistic this point. So he, from the officer of the National Council, Upsilon Lambda, Sigma Upsilon Lambda, attention leaders of the sisterhood group, as a responsible and peace-loving officers, member of Sigma Upsilon Lambda, we are sending you the affirmative. We took a deep and all this thing. What would you SUUL can become if we continue to stick the right? Blah, 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 and all of these things. So makita mo dito, we choose to take the path of peace and unity to our common love of the organization. Better to have peace rather than being right and all these things. So makita mo dito, yeah, they responded to the calling of the majority for unification, for talk, for exploration. But these are the conditions. Sabi niya, the basic requirements sa message ni Brad Jimmy is to endorse letter from both leaders. 5-5 yung representative. This letter serves also as a formal expression of the SM, ISK of response to popular clamor for unification. Kasi mga membro nito, magpatawag na, unify ta, na pressure yung National Council ngayon. Number 2, representative must be sensible and level-headed. Representative must drop, blah, blah, blah. Representative must have no rancor to the organization and all these things. So, ito yung mga condition nila. The National Council recommends the following. Number 1, exploratory meet-up. Mag-meet up tayo to explore the possibility of unification. Ito po yung una. February 22 po yan sa CDO nangyari doon sa Lumbia. And once after that exploratory meet-up, and there's another schedule for unification meeting which will happen lately, I think March or something. So to be determined by the exploratory meetup. So exploratory meetup po na tayo. If there's something that we can discuss and agreed on, then doon tayo sa unification meeting. So that this is what happened. The exploratory meetup happened in Lumbia, sa house nila Turalba. Determine the schedule and date. Sa center po, it should be also put in our minds that this is upcoming exploratory meetup is to held in order to what? Determine natin if the two groups and the respective leaders are really serious in achieving unification. Popularly clamored by the majority. Tingnan natin kung seryoso ba kayo. Sige, mag-meet up tayo. Exploratory meet up muna tayo. Tapos later on, unification meeting. Letter B, set the agenda for unification meeting proper. It's the date and venue. So, una muna exploratory meet up. Let's explore and see if we can come up with something that we can agree on. Then let's go on for unification meeting, the formal one. So the exploratory meetup does not aim to fully discuss, resolve the aforementioned subject concerns, issues, but only agreed for the final agenda for the unification meeting. So hindi mo natin mag-discuss about the details and all these things, but let's talk and explore if there are any things that we can agree on. Let's proceed to the unification meeting. So exploratory talk happens February, while on March, doon sana ang plano ng unification before the COVID-19. I'm posting you a clear copy of what happened, issued by discussion. Ito po yung 12-point agenda na gusto nilang mangyari. So, few agendas is very pattern to what Fred Alag and the North American chapter is saying. So, sabi niya ito, but indirectly saying dito that there will only be may reorientation na mangyari and swearing of joint declaration by both leaders for a reunited SUUL, homogeneous commitment to cooperation. Only one set of national officers. Only one. One SUUL, one body, one voice, one set of national officers, and should adopt the original symbol of SUUL. So balik dapat tayo sa fellowship. Ito yung mga nakalagay na condition. There shall be no election yet for unified national officers right after the unification. So after the unification, sa March or the next meeting natin, wala munang election. this is contrary to the CBL, which is stipulated that there should be no election every 3 years ang nasa CBL kasi ng fellowship. So in such, status quo muna. So whoever is the leader at Burgos, lahat under tayo kay Burgos. So under tayo sa kanya, national until the new set of officers are elected, antay tayo until 2020. So doon na makakabuelo yung sisterhood at mag-elect kung sino ang pwede nating i-elect. Pero for now, during this one, under muna tayo kay Burgos, status quo nakalagay. Once reunification is done, there must be only one national and official FB wall. Blah, blah, blah. Lahat yan. Basahin niyo po. Zoom in if you want. Tackle of major issues like unliquidation of SUUL, unliquidated funds of SUUL by the previous officers and members. Nako, binalikan pa yan at kailangan munang pag-usapan. So, marking into the calendar, date, time, venue of the formal unification meeting, appointing to the coordinators, wala. So, what happened next is nakakalungkot pong isipin. Kasi if you look at Rajiv, he become now a person of Maka-CBL. So, yung dating post niya na love, forgiveness, and he started slowly to pivot into saying that almost everyone nowadays is one unification meeting. Lahat ng 3, 4, 5 requirements dyan, 6, 7 are the technical requirements of the CBL stated and fellowship. Kailangan mo nang sundin yan as a prerequisite. So kanina, it's like, wag muna nating i-request yung CBL, ganun po yung stand niya. But now, he's slowly shifted to a more legalistic approach of saying that by the book, ito po yung gawin natin. So sabi niya, when NPAs are reintegrated into society, of course, I'm not saying na NPA yung sisterhood. Anyways, we are not imposing. We are just putting those in the table and we will leave this, all of the wisdom of the leaders. Again, why would you put something in, you are setting again a condition that will fail in the first place. So this is what happened. He pivoted from a little bit soft-hearted, forgiving, and alam niya yung kamay na bakal, alam din niya mag-reconcession, to a more legalistic at maka-CBL na siya this time. So I don't know what happened to Rajiv. I wanted to, if we can see and meet each other, I wanted to talk to you personally because your position shifted little bit, slowly pivoted to a more legalistic approach. Those who continue to oppose in the unification might consider posting your names and your convos in this convo in this wall, so all members may know you might be flooded with requests to cooperate from all of us. Maganda yung plano niya, he want everyone to cooperate, but during this time, he pivoted again to a more legalistic approach. Makita po niya yung picture dyan. Nagpasalamat siya kay Alex Toralba for hosting the Exploratory Meetup. Marami pong pumunta doon. It was the first exploratory po muna yon. There was a unification after that. But if tutuloy-tuloy ang exploratory, then they can go on for unification meetup. Andyan po yung picture, makita nyo. Again, the sad news came out March 7, sinabi sa day 2. Tingnan nyo po dito, day number 2. This was a closed-door meeting upon presentation and discussion of a different components of agenda. There were 3 deadlocks. Hindi po, it didn't push through because merong 3 deadlocks. 3 deadlocks experience. The talks does not seem to go forward, sabi niya, because of such deadlocks. Then, another set of alternative activities which dates were discussed. Unfortunately, this activities demand is not allowed in our CBL. Ano po yung activities na yun? Aside sa 3 deadlocks, meron pa activities na hindi sanctioned by the CBL Fellowship. For example, gusto na may plebiscite, gusto na merong early Constitution Convention, and gustong merong early election of officers. Sabi naman nila, this is part of our condition na status quo muna tayo, wala tayong election muna because as per your fellowship CBL, 3 years after pa yung election. So, manganib si Borges dito ngayon because he don't want to lose the election as well. Chances mantakin mo yun. If may matalo siya, he will be the shortest Supreme Minister serving SUUL for the entire history. So kakapanalo lang niya. So why would he give a gun to something to you and shoot him? So this will not work. In fact, he's also invoking the CBL that as per our CBL, sundin natin to. So again, it's like, okay, we are trying to negotiate, we are trying to, but yet, affirm na yung idea mo that it will not work out. So again, this kind of exploratory talk will not work out. 3 deadlock po yan, and activities, plebiscite, early Constitution Convention, early election officers, ayaw ng fellowship. This is what happened. Pag-usapan natin, may someone describes of a deadlock, but again, Ang sinabi ni Brad Cesar Burgos SM dito, my respect to the officers and members of Brotherhood and Sisterhood group, as well as the efforts of call for unity for the unified group. Again, the unified group composed of fellowship, pero ang we are open to sisterhood. We don't condone them, but we respect them so that we join forces para we support the initiative sa unification. Yun po yung ginawa ng unified group. Ang unified group, we acknowledge and call sisterhood as our brothers and sisters. For those who also wanted unification group, so sabi niya, okay, pro-unification kayo, pro-unification ako, let's join together and let's ask our leaders and support whatever unification process na magkakaroon kayo. Kaya mayroong unified group. So nagpasalamat siya for the efforts of call of the unified group. As for the NC members, sabi niya, let's continue we are not closing the door for future unification. Sabi niya, we are not closing the door for any future unification initiatives. We will continue to move along as the basis of mandate in our constitution. So, second to the last slide, sabi niya, it was well mentioned by Louis Puracan again, the first member who exerted effort and attempt to unify the group by personally going to Valencia, Davao to see and talk to Rick Martres. Siya din yung pinaka-last person. Greg, sabi niya siya, listen to this carefully. Merong tatlong deadlocks and other set of alternatives like plebiscite, election, ayaw ng fellowship. So the last words of Louis Puracan saying, after reading the statement of Brad Cesar, let me just share my opinion. During the last sports fest in Digos City, I had a chance to talk with Brad Joags about the unification and told me, lisod ang pikas kay naay conditions. Brad Joags is 100% correct. The statement of Brad Cesar is loud and clear. Unification for them means abolition of the brotherhood and sisterhood, and we will go back to fellowship group. Lead by Brad Cesar and Brad Pitt. This is the deadlock. Sabi niya, ito yung deadlock. Again, I agree with Joags. Unification move is a futile effort as the other party is simply unwilling to participate and get involved. Let us all move on with our normal lives. Sabi niya, let's continue, parahin tayo. We tag ourselves with the motto, in unity we stand, but in truth, gubot pa kaita sa lukot. Kudos to Brad Jimmy Karian and Brad Alex Toralba for the undying spirit. I have been on that road before. Sabi niya, I have been on that road. I was the first who called for this. Now you are in my shoe. So kudos to you for the effort. Hindi madali. Together with Brad Flor Bondok and Brad Rick Martres, late Rick Martres, peace be upon him, we are simply matured individuals with infinite pride. Matured sana tayo, but our pride is infinite. Napakagandang word po ni Louis Puracan. Lastly, we can still be united if we set our personal pride aside and focus on the path that lies ahead of us. Sadly, sabi niya, humility is not a virtue to some of our leaders. Napakaganda, no? Sabi niya, I agree with Joag, let us move on with our normal lives. Our younger generation, sabi niya, the statement of Brad Cesar is clear, but ito yung pinaka-thing that strike me the most. Let us all move on with our normal lives. Our younger generation will inherit an organization full of irony. We tag ourselves with the motto, in unity we stand, but in truth, gubot pata sa lukot. Ladies and gentlemen, that is what happened. Ang nangyari po sa Beloved Soul. So, if you like the video, the presentation that happened until today, ang daming problema, but I think the fellowship will not go for the exploratory talk or unification anymore. They terminated it clearly. So, follow me on Facebook. There will be more discussions about this. Year by year, I will go to the issues. I will make people understand what went wrong at bakit ganito katigas ang puso ng ating mga leaders for unification, because there was already personal grudges, personal manslinging involved, mga problema, and the wound is so deep for them to heal and to forgive. We have reached to a point of no return. So unless the members will support the unification process, make a difference, or we can wait until 2020 and again elect a leader that's willing to unify and knows the iron fist, at the same time knows when and how to give the forgiveness and unity. Thank you for staying and listening. I hope this has been informative enough. I would like to thank you for viewing this video, And just do follow me and continue to have a grass understanding. In Unity we stand. God bless you.